Welcome to Small Biz Life, episode 126. 5 things being new parents has taught us about small business.
Does this sound familiar?
Oh my God, I have so much to do today.
Don't forget to breathe.
But I have almost 400 emails in my inbox and 30 phone calls to make.
Have you looked into getting a virtual assistant yet?
Oh, and I need to schedule all my social media posts.
Did you drink anything today?
I had coffee.
Did you eat today?
Did I mention coffee's a bean?
This is Small Biz Life.
Hey guys, welcome to Small Biz Life. We're so glad you joined us this week. My name's Kristin Ingram.
And my name is Jeffrey W. Ingram.
And we are a husband and wife, brand new parents.
Yes.
And owners of Ingram Digital Media.
Yeah, if we fall asleep during the episode, we apologize.
So, this week we thought we would do something a little bit fun, but also has really good lessons. And I think it has a lot of common sense stuff that we forget in our businesses.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, you learn a lot rapidly. There's some of it, intellectually, but you don't really truly understand until you're actually in the scenario trying to deal with it,
And I think that applies to business and parenthood.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think when you're on the outside looking in, people will give you lots of advice on how to be a better parent and how to be a better business person. But until you're there and you're experiencing it, you really don't know.
Yeah. It's like when I worked strictly corporate, my real understanding of what it took to be good at business and small business terms was completely skewed.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. So let's dive into the 5 things being new parents has taught us about small business. The first one, and this is actually...
One we suggest anyway.
Yes, though this is really good for this week. Have procedures and checklists for everything. And we have a checklist up on the refrigerator that, reminds us to take our vitamins, give the baby his vitamins, run the dishwasher, clean out the litter boxes, kind of things that we have to do on a daily basis.
Yeah.
That we forget to do if we don't have the checklist.
Those life tasks that, really aren't going to get you anywhere in life, but you got to get done.
And the thing is, you should really have this for your business as well. So, we have checklists for what goes into a completed blog post. We have procedures for what are all the steps to publish a podcast. And so, it's really important to have these things in place. The more you can create systems in your business by creating procedures and checklists, the easier it is, for you to run your business, but also when you start hiring people, handing that work off to other people.
And a great tip with this too is, especially if it's a complicated task that takes you a while to get through, record yourself doing it. Take a video screen scrape and just, if it's on a computer or, selfie yourself doing it. If it's not, a little camera with a tripod over top looking at what you're doing, because that's a great way to document it as well too, so someone can go back and reference the full scope of what you need to do. And one other great tip along with this, make sure to add quality assurance steps to your checklist.
Yes.
For any of those who downloaded, right there and downloaded a little ahead of time, a little bit before our Monday launch of our episode, you would have realized that I uploaded a completely wrong episode from a completely different show. For this week's episode, it was tagged correctly, it had the right images, it all looked good. It passed the smell test looking at it, which is typically what I do, because I've done hundreds of podcast episodes, and but yet I missed it because I didn't listen to it for a few seconds before I launched it.
Yeah. So, make sure that, when you're creating those checklists, that you also put your quality control.
Verifying the links that you've added into the episode work.
Yeah, that's kind of huge, because I go to a lot of blog posts and it kind of amazes me how many times links don't work.
And links are a good way to hurt your SEO as well. And most sites and blogs don't have great SEO anyway. One way to stand ahead is to get rid of what they call the 404, the broken link errors.
Yeah. Absolutely. So that's, I think that's a really good example of quality control, both from the blogging side and the podcast side. Just make sure that you're actually linking to and uploading what you think you're going to. Okay. So the second thing that we've learned being new parents is purchase tools that make your life easier and automate things.
Yes. And these are life and business tools, anything that can save you time, because as you know, especially when you become a new parent, the baby is very, very dependent upon you at all times, can really get nothing done without you.
Well, here's the thing. So wait, we got to go back with this story. When we first started filling out the registry for the baby, okay, we saw this thing called the baby Brezza formula machine. And it was funny because you thought that was the craziest thing that you would ever see. I
instantly called it the baby cappuccino machine.
Right. It was the baby cappuccino machine. This was outrageous that you would actually need something. What you do is you put water in the reservoir, you put formula in this thing, and you hit a button and formula shoots out.
Sort of think like a Keurig for
baby formula.
For a baby bottle.
Okay, so it's $175. We both thought that this was the most insane thing that we had ever seen in our lives.
We laughed at this. We bought one about 2.5 weeks ago. Yes.
And I'll tell you, it is the greatest thing in the whole wide world.
Yes.
Because it really
is.
It automates making a bottle.
For all you moms who listen, and I know there are a couple, the dad can make the formula in the middle of the night and feed the baby. Just saying.
Right. It's a wonderful thing. You click a button and you put the bottle underneath it and you get formula. But it's funny because when I talk to business owners and I say, hey, look at something like Recur Post. You can put in your RSS feed. It will pull in all of your blog posts and it will create reoccurring content. And people are like, I am not spending $30 a month on something like Recur Post. It is a waste of money. It is not, I don't need that. Okay, you know what? Yes, you might be able to go along in your business without something like Recur Post.
Yes.
But it absolutely makes your life so much easier because you've got content going out all the time, no matter what happens.
Most definitely. And this is a big thing that when it comes down to it, when you're really trying to save time and you're trying to get more time, there are like some big bucket things you can do creating a time budget. Part 3 that'll come up on this list is another great thing to do. Coming up ahead of time, with what you're working on. There are a lot of weird things you can do, but really, ultimately, about getting the most out of your time, which means you get the most out of your life, whether it's with your kids, whether it's with your business, is to maximize the seconds. And with the web, the internet, and APIs, you can customize most software that you have now. Really simply, and one I use all the time is Trello, and I use a plugin for it called Butler. And Butler, what it does is it allows me to create automations for Trello. Certain things like adding in, so it'll create tasks for me that are repeated every week, because I have sort of a weekly planning board that I use. So I put my must-do items into my days of the week they're due on. And I have another list where I can put ideas of things that are the next things I'm working on. So when I get through my must-dos, I can start hitting on things that I'm trying to get done for the business or for life. And so I have this board set up. And one simple one, which you would think saves very little, is putting stuff into the completed box. Because after a while, it starts to fill up. It becomes messy. It becomes annoying. It becomes a distraction. So on a board like that, where I'm not trying to measure my percent done like I would on a project, I'm trying to get things done through the board. When I put it into this box called completed, it really just auto archives it so it disappears. I don't see it anymore. And it saves me probably 2 seconds an item. But you figure if I do, just my must-do items that week, that's 15 items at 2 seconds. Over time, these things build up into big blocks of time. And there are other things too, where I'll create a new blog post entry to come up in the blog post board. I'll take certain boards to centralize stuff. So if something comes onto one board, it'll automatically go to a central board where everything's at. There are multiple things that you can do, with a tool like this. Very simply, a plug-in tool to take something that you use and automate a few seconds here or there out of it, but it adds up to maybe an extra block of work a week.
Well, and here's the thing, the thing that I really like about Trello with Butler, Jeff has a whole bunch of different automations set up, and it's one thing that I love is that, like, okay, we do a blog post or we do a podcast episode every week, and we have this item set up that has the full checklist of all the steps that you need to complete the podcast episode. So do you have the topic? Do you have the show flow, which is what we go off of when we record? Have you recorded it? Have you edited it? It's got all the steps. One thing that you can do with Butler is say, create this post every week. Create it every week on Monday for the next week's blog post or for the next week's podcast. So we don't have to think about creating that. We don't have to think about copying that from last week's board.
Yep.
It just happens.
Especially over time, the longer you're in business, the more things that you have to get done. And it's easier to forget a thing here or there. And, you can do simple things for relatively little money to save time and get the same stuff done, which gives you more time to grow your business, to create or deliver on what you're doing.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like when we are looking for tools in the business, we're always looking to see how much time could this save us. Right. And sometimes it's time, doing things, like posting to social media. And sometimes it's how much time can we save with these mundane tasks, right? That we don't want to do.
Because all tasks aren't equal. Tasks that you find obnoxious, even, a second there might be worth 10 seconds at a different task.
Right.
So because it keeps your mind positive, which allows you to get more done. There's just so many things that you can do to help create your mindset, to help make your life easier, and to help leave you the time you need to get your life and business done.
Yep. And that's why we love the baby cappuccino machine.
And that's why we have a baby cappuccino machine.
And we'll put a link to that if and I'm going to be working on something on like the best things that we bought for the baby as small business owners. I would, once I get that out, I'll let you guys know. Make sure you're on our email list. But I will put a link to the baby Brezza formula machine in the show notes for this episode, for episode 126.
Very good.
Okay, so number 1, we said have procedures and checklists for everything. Number 2, we said purchase tools that make your life easier and automate things. Number 3 is create a schedule and task lists.
Yeah, everyone in HQ knows this. We talk about this all the time. Time blocking. I know we've done episodes on it as well too, I believe. 2 really important things.
But here's the thing. Like, so start with, parenting, right? So, there's a lot of people that say, feed on demand, kind of go with the flow with the baby. Well, we read this book, and this is a great book for new parents. It's called Baby Wise. We'll put a link to that in the show notes also. But what it does is it talks about creating a schedule for your baby to help your baby sleep through the night. Oh, doesn't that sound lovely? And so we've got Eric on the schedule. Now, Eric is 6 weeks old. He'll be 6 weeks tomorrow when we're recording this. But he basically wakes up at about 12:30 to feed, and then he'll wake up like somewhere between 3:45 and 5 o'clock. So if you kind of think about it, 12:30 and then 4-ish is a pretty nice chunk of time. And when we're splitting the night, we both get decent sleep.
Yeah.
Because
and that's really a key too. And, if you're with a partner, it makes it easier, or it should. If you're a guy and you're not helping your wife through the night, you need to rethink yourself for a second, because you both can benefit by having more brain power.
Yes.
And if you can both get 8 hours of sleep because you cover part of the evening and she covers the other part of the evening, one does early night and one does early morning, whoever is best at what, or whoever's not as bad as the other in our scenarios. Yeah. How I got morning is because I suck less in the morning than Kristin does. But you can come up with these systems to help do it. And it's not perfect. It's, but it's not as bad as working, opposite shifts to have to watch the baby 24 hours a day.
Yeah, but that's the thing. So, but we have this schedule that we have the baby on, and then we're working around that schedule. So, when we were recording today, we said, okay, the baby's going to want to eat about 11. And then he usually is pretty awake after he eats lunch. So, we played with him. We did tummy time. We did a whole bunch of exercises with him.
We both ate that time.
Yeah, we made sure that we both ate. So that way, when he was starting to get tired, we put him down for a nap and we ran up to record. So the thing is, because we know what his schedule looks like, we can plan around that schedule.
Yeah. And it's, with the understanding too that sometimes you lose that game because sometimes the baby eats in 15 minutes and sometimes he eats in an hour and 15 minutes. But you just have to deal with that as it comes. Some days he's getting ready to go into a growth spurt. So he's hungry and angry all of the time.
Yep.
And then the couple days after that, he's not quite as hungry and sleepy.
Right. But, but having that schedule, and like we have, our business has always been really scheduled. That changes semester to semester, depending on what my class schedule looks like. But, like right now, Tuesdays and Wednesdays are content creation days. Tuesdays are typically podcasts. Wednesdays are HQ. And we have our days scheduled out so that we make sure that everything that needs to get done gets done. We're also big fans of daily task lists, which if you don't have the focus planner yet, the daily focus planner, go to smallbizlife.com/focus and you can download the free daily focus planner. You can print it out every day, plan your day out using that.
And, it's not as good as I think doing it, sort of wrapped in, into a bigger system, but it's a great tool to help you get more done during the day. It really is.
Yep. If you sign up for the daily focus planner, you'll also have an opportunity to learn more about the focus master plan, which is the bigger system for helping you take your life goals and break them down into annual, monthly, weekly, and then your daily plan. So I think that that's really huge. But having that plan every day. And one of the things that we do with our HQ members, is every day, Monday through Friday, we say, okay, what is your must do today? And it helps having that accountability every day. I know it really helps me stay focused. And I know not every day I get all my stuff done.
And sometimes, we kind of watch our members and we watch what they put down. And if we start noticing, we see a lot of administrative tasks over and over again, we start to question them a little bit too. And like, how do these grow your business? How do they get you to a point to where, you've grown enough to where maybe you can offload some more of this? So, because it's really, I think the nice thing is that helps get you to a whole different level where you're focused on getting to the next level. And by doing that, you're growing your business and you're creating new opportunities to be able to automate more of that stuff in your life or buy more of those tools that you need.
Right. So I think that brings us to number 4. So just to recap, number 1 was have procedures and checklists for everything. Number 2, purchase tools that make your life easier and automate things. Number 3, create a schedule and task list. And number 4, do the most important tasks first. Okay, and Jeff calls this smart agility.
Yes. The idea is especially when you know where you're going, this becomes a very simple task, but it's the idea of saying, I have 15 things I need to get done today. What do I have to get done? It's like, with the focus system, it's this idea of your must-do items. Those are easy to pick out. But beyond that, there's still certain things that are more important than other ones. Some of them are because of deadlines. Some of them are just because they're, if you get them out of the way, it will free up more time going into the future. There are all kinds of reasons you can do that, but the better you know yourself and where you're going, it makes it simpler to really prioritize your tasks and sit there and go, this is the one I need to do next, right? I know which one I need to do next, even though I just got through my must-do items.
Right, and this is really important because as parents, that things come up all the time. You might have a plan that, okay, you're going to do these 3 things today. And then you get a call from the school saying that your child is sick and you need to come, pick him or her
now
up.
a text alert.
Yeah. So the thing is, there's kind of this theory that some people use where they kind of ease into their day, and they kind of do these little tasks and these light tasks so they can, work their way in. The problem is that if you're not doing the most important tasks first, you may never get to them.
Yeah. And really, it's optimal to get your most important tasks done when your brain's optimal. And each of us, it's a little bit different time every day, but there's that time where you can really just nail it. And if you can, it's great to do those then. Mm-hmm. But, sometimes you don't have that luxury. And especially you kind of know as a parent, the rhythm of your family and the chaoticness of how things happen. And so you have to be willing to be able to sit there and go, you know what? That feeding took an extra 45 minutes. It blew into my next time block. I'm not going to be able to get the next thing I want to get done. But looking at my list, you know what? I can follow up on this email.
Yep.
That's a short, easy tasks. And the other thing I do with this too is now when I task build, I like to break things down in an iterative process from really big to really small. I try and get things down to where I think they're going to be 30 to 45 minutes long. Even if it's something simple that I know all of the steps of, I want to break it down more. So I know that if I only have 30 minutes, I can get something done in that hour block because the baby woke up and was crying and I had to deal with that. And Kristen's not home. And so I have to deal with that and the baby and still try and grow my business or our business.
And I think it's, I like what Jeff said. Sometimes I find when people are posting in the HQ group their tasks for the day, they're not posting tasks. They're posting projects.
Or they're this Kaizen project plan thing called ideas. You have ideas of things that you need to get done to complete a project. So it's like, I need to create a sales page. That's an idea. It's part of a project. But the thing is, it's come up with a good headline. That's one task. Mm-hmm. And it probably really is. You probably should spend a full block doing that.
Well, but I'm seeing people post things like, revamp my website. Mm-hmm. And you're like, okay, that's a whole bunch of tasks. This is going to take you, maybe a week or two to do this. So, break it down into manageable tasks so that you can actually pick them off the list. Mm-hmm. I think one of the things that really hurts people's productivity and their feeling of accomplishment is when they create these tasks that are so overwhelming, that are so multi-part and multifaceted.
If it's a 3-month task, you're going to feel like you got nothing done for 3 months until you get it done.
Right. So that's the thing. So, break things down into manageable pieces. I like Jeff's thing of a 30 to 45 minute task. If you've got a project that you're working on that's going to take longer than that, break it down into smaller pieces.
Well, it's like because before I do 50-minute Pomodoro blocks. So I have an hour blocked off of time for each task I'm going to do in a day. So I used to do 45 to 50 minutes. But now I go a little bit shorter because I realize I'm going to lose more time throughout the day that I was not expecting.
Mm-hmm. Right. And I think that really leads into the last one. So just to kind of recap, you want to have 5. Number 1 was have procedures and checklists for everything. Number 2, purchase tools that make your life easier and automate things. Number 3, create a schedule and task lists. Number 4, do the most important task first. And number 5, always allow more time than you think you need and don't wait until the last minute so you can give yourself some grace when needed.
Yes.
And I know that's a long one, but so let's think about this. One thing about being a new mom, everything takes longer than you think it's going to. Giving Eric a bath, feeding Eric, playing with Eric, changing Eric, everything takes longer than you think it's going to.
Some of those people who've been moms for years, you become very proficient in doing certain tasks, but no matter what you're learning, whenever you're learning something new, it takes you longer to do things than it would someone who's proficient.
Right.
And especially when the thing's wiggly and trying to escape you. And it seems like it's giggling even though it shouldn't know how yet.
Well, and that's the thing, and it's like, okay, I'm going to get these 4 things done today, and then Eric wakes up and he's not feeling good, and he just wants to cuddle with mommy, So it's like, okay, what can I get done? I can email from my phone while I'm holding him.
Mom and Dad is looking at me again. Wah!
But that's the thing, and the problem is when we wait until the last minute to get things done, we put undue pressure on ourselves. And that's why, I really encourage my clients and the people in the HQ group, set boundaries with your clients. Don't take on last minute projects unless you are getting paid a premium to do them. Because you
charge the premium.
Right, and charge the premium for that. But, when you put work on yourself, last minute, and I did this, I never do this, and I did it last month, and I was like kicking myself because I'm like, I'm trying to get this done before a deadline. I had very little time to get it done, and I'm like, you know what? This is why I don't do this. And it's like, I guess I needed that reminder to not do that again.
I think that also says another truth there. The hidden truth of the episode is, even when we become proficient at doing things, like for me, putting together podcast episodes, for Kristin, getting work done, we sometimes forget things, which is why you go back to number one, you need those checklists. Because you become proficient, but sometimes you forget why or what the problems really are within there and the reason why you have to do things that you do them in that certain way. You learn things over time and it becomes built in, but sometimes, you look for that shortcut because humans naturally want that shortcut and it's not there. There is no shortcuts, outside of having more money to outsource activities, but there are no real shortcuts, that you can find. Typically, when you come up with a good system for doing something, there's a reason why you do it in the order that you do it. And it's best to keep yourself remembering why you do it that way, or else you get stuck and left out in the cold by yourself to reteach yourself that lesson. But we're human. We all do that. And it's okay. It will happen no matter how many checklists you have.
Yeah.
You're going to forget sometimes. You're going to try and do shortcuts, and you're going to put up that wrong podcast episode. You're going to take on that task you shouldn't.
And that's why you got to give yourself some grace.
Give yourself the grace, which is the good word, that she included there, is give yourself some of that grace, because you're not perfect. You're probably really good. You're probably really, really good. If you listen to this show,
you're really good.
You're no excuse mama, or papa, but give yourself the grace, because even when we should know the lesson, the whole thing, if you trip me once, shame on you. If you trip me twice, shame on me. You're always going to have shame on me's in life.
Yep. So that's why, I think, it's funny because being new parents has really made us look at our business, how we run our business, what's important in our business and what is not. And it's been really good for us to kind of refocus on what we've been doing. We started this business a year ago. And it was, it was a good first year. But we know that we can do better. The babies kind of helped us really focus in on that. And so we're really excited about this year. We hope that this episode, has kind of taught you some lessons, or maybe,
help
you remember of some lessons that you knew already. But, and let us know, like, what, when you had kids, what did you learn about your business that you didn't know before? Or when you started your business, with kids, what did you have to do in order to get that business up and running? So let's start a conversation in the Facebook group.
Social media card coming on.
Yeah, let's start a discussion in the Facebook group. So facebook.com/group/smallbizlife. And we want to know what's working for you. So thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.
This was Small Biz Life.